Hi, Omega Khaos here again with another real life deck profile, and this time I'm going to show my updated Sark Magician deck. But again, like with my old ice deck, it is without full Metalfoes Electrumite. Pretty sad, but again, like I said, I can't afford that card because that card is way too expensive for me. Otherwise, of course, this deck will be pretty much almost completely different. So, let's cover this deck. So first the monsters. 3, obviously, Astrograph, Sorcerer. Really amazing. Obviously, I think you definitely know what this card does by now, because it has been abused with Full Metalfoes Electrumite. Then, Supreme King Gate Infinity. I do use the Supreme King engine, and obviously it's very appropriate to the theme of this deck. And I also use this card, Supreme Gate Infinity, scale 13, but the restriction is that if you you have to have no monsters to be able to pendulum summon. If you have this card in the pendulum scale. Then Supreme King Gate 0, 0 scale, pretty good, obviously search with Darkworm. Then of course Supreme Dragon Darkworm, obviously search out any Supreme Gate. It's in the graveyard. You have no monsters, you can spell summon this card from the graveyard, so definitely pretty good. Then a free Old Ice Pendulum Dragon. You might wonder why I use this card in this deck. Like, no one uses like the Old Ice monsters in Pendulum Magicians anymore, but obviously my main goal in this deck is to summon out Supreme King Sark. And since Iris Magician is now banned, you definitely need to use your Old Ice Pendulum Dragon, because Astrograph Sorcerer cards, you have to have a Pendulum Dragon card in your deck. So that definitely helps quite a lot. So yeah, and it's a good beater for this deck as well. Then a Black Fang Magician, since Iris Magician was one of your main high scales, you need to use more of other cards like Black Fang Magician, and it's definitely really good still. And of course, name for your Astrograph Sorcerer to summon out Sark. Then your Pearl Poison Magician, of course, really good as well, one of your main low scales. And 2 White Wing Magician, name for clearing pretty much, but it's a tuner as well. So that's pretty nice. Then 1 Off-Dragon Magician, recycle your magicians or roll as monsters from your X deck, pretty good. Might even run multiples, but right now 1 is fine. Then obviously your triple Wisdom Magician, really nice. Then 3 Harmonized Magician, obviously your 1 card rank 4 or level 8 Synchro, but it's also a 8 scale, so that's pretty important as well. That's why I bumped this card to 3 as well. And the last monster is Nobleton Magician, because obviously I use Old Ice Pendulum Dragon, and this allows me to make some synchro plays with Old Ice. So that was the monster. Now let's the spell cards. First, Old Ice Fusion, to make some fusion plays, to make like Vortex and stuff. And obviously I run Skyris as well to switch that. Then 1 Pendulum Fusion, another fusion card, and it's searchable with Tourist Alliance. Then obviously 3 Pendulum Call for consistency. Obviously it's very weak to Ash Blossom, but obviously you need to bait the Ash Blossom out with other cards. Then obviously Tourist Alliance, it can search out quite many cards in this deck, and it's especially important to search out your Pendulum Crafts, because obviously Iris Magician is banned now. Then 2 Sky Iris to search out your Old Ice Pendulum Dragon or Old Ice Fusion. So still pretty good, but obviously if I had Electrumite I wouldn't really use it, but since I don't have it, I kinda need to use like more consistency cards to get access to my Old Ice Pendulum Dragon. Then 1 Star Pendulum Craft, pretty good. And 2 Time Pendulum Craft. I think it's still pretty good even without Iris Magician. So yeah, so that was my spells and traps. Now let's see the extra deck. So this is the main card of his deck, Supreme King Sark. Obviously now it's more harder to summon because obviously Iris Magician is banned, but you can still summon it sometimes, I guess. I haven't really tested this deck quite enough to figure out how often you can really summon it now, but it's still the main win condition of this deck. Then one Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom, of course. One Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Dice Vortex Dragon, obviously still really good. Might even run multiples, but right now one is fine. Then one Bells of the Diabolic Dragons, because True Draco is really popular right now. It just won a recent YCS. So this is pretty good against that particular deck. Then one Ignister, obviously, because it has a non-targeting and non-destruction effect. Then one Supreme King Dragon Clearing, obviously really nice in this deck. One Clearing Synchro Dragon. Obviously you use Noble Dragon Magician in this deck. And Dice Metaverse Dragon. Then Exist Monsters. One Dice Raging Dragon for Dice Fusion. Yeah, definitely don't really summon it normal in this deck, because I don't run Xiank Magician right now. Then one Supreme Dragon Dark Rebellion, obviously really amazing in this deck. The regular Dark Rebellion Exist Dragon. Then two Time Star Magician to search out your essential pieces, and second effect is really good as well. And finally, number 41, Babushka. Obviously, just in case if you need to make it first turn to stall your opponent out. So yeah, that was the extra deck. So this was my update Sark Magician deck without full Metalfoes Electrumite. Hopefully I can get that card someday if it doesn't get banned before that. It probably is going to get reprinted in the Megatins or something, but even then it still might be too expensive for me, because I don't really want to waste that much money on very expensive cards, because I don't really go to many like super competitive tournaments or anything. So I hope you enjoyed this real life deck profile. For now, goodbye and on my Khaos.